Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls from all over the world, you've been waiting 24 hours for another one of these fun-filled, exciting, action-packed, intellectually stimulating conversations with your boy Rags here. I am the founder of the Rags Riches community. In fact, I'm the CEO, the CFO, the COO, the CWO, the NWO, the Supreme Ayatollah. Ladies and gentlemen, how the hell are you today? Terrafin, popping in number one where he belongs. Rick Schmidt's in the house. Crypto Heartbeat, everybody give him a salute there. Crypto Heartbeat in the house. Love me some ginger snaps. I'm still not liking this vid. Thank you, Graphene. I do appreciate that. Reg Squirrel. You say it 15 times fast, you're going to screw it up. That and macaroni and cheese. +1 in chat if you're trying it right now. Red Squirrel, oi, oi, mad Hex Room. Oops, I accidentally liked this video. My bad, y'all. It's disgusting. You guys are a bunch of derelicts. I don't appreciate it. Bearded Saint in the house. Precious Hex says, it's that time of the month. You talking about Terrafin? Understood. Chris Side Effects. You know what? Little story about your name. I did not even take any time to understand the side effects part until, what's her girl? SJ. SJ pointed it out. So, I love your name, by the way. That's very clever. Finbear in the house. K-Hex. What's new, Rags? And Terrafin says, if you're going to like the stream, make sure to like it twice. That might be grounds for dismissal, Terrafin. I'm not sure. Ladies and gentlemen, we've got some stuff to go over today. My goal, I scour the internet, I watch videos, I look at articles to try to find you guys the meat and potatoes of what's going on. The meat potatoes so you can make good decisions for your life and you can have your expectations set properly. So, we're going to get into it today. We got some good info. And without further ado, here we go.
Do not like or comment on any of my videos, and please do not subscribe.
All right, so here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Here we have the hex chart in the year of our Lord, Wednesday, May 15th, 2022. So what do you guys think about the hex chart here? What do you guys think? You know, I will say this. You know, before we had that whale do a mega dump on our head 2 days ago, it looked like we were kind of keeping this channel right now. If we were to wipe away that dump, we would actually still be in that channel. So I think it's pretty interesting. I think we're holding up pretty well considering everything right now. We're just waiting on this news. So the question becomes, when this news happens, what type of pump are we going to see? I would expect that we're going to see, we'll see a substantial pump. And I also expect that there are some people who are holding hex and holding hex stakes, etc. They're expecting this pump to happen and they're going to use it as their exit liquidity. So I think it's going to be volatile. So I will say that. I think right now it's probably a pretty good time just to hold off until there's something there. All right. So maybe hold off or at least, buy in a little bit at a time, because when that announcement gets made, hex could absolutely tear. It could absolutely tear. So it's very important to kind of go over that, to kind of think about that. All right. So let's look at the rest of the market too. I think this is important. Let's go to watch list here and let's do the NDX. Right. All right. So you guys got to understand this. The stock market and the crypto market are still pretty correlated. If you guys have been paying attention to some of the happenings in finance recently, Jerome Powell, he got on yesterday, and Jerome Powell, talked about some pretty interesting things. I'm just going to say kind of pretty scary things to people who are in economics and finance. Now, Jerome Powell, he's the president of the Federal Reserve. I know that many of you are actually not from the States. But I will say this, whenever the United States catches the cold, the rest of the world catches the flu. And not only that, there's a lot of similarities in terms of economics, in terms of what the United States has done to inflate and debase its currency, and also what many European countries have done and other places around the world. So I think that you're going to see a lot of the same types of effects here. So Jerome Powell, and as evidenced by this horrific looking chart, if this is the NASDAQ, this is the top 100 here, we're down about 30%. We're down about 30% since January. So it's not looking good. It is not looking any better right now at all. Jerome Powell made some points, okay? So the first and foremost, the Fed has increased interest rates twice this year already. If you guys are just joining the discussion, you want to understand why the Federal Reserve increased interest rates. When interest rates are lower, the economy's on a boom and the Federal Reserve prints massive amounts of money. So the better the economy does, to meet that monetary demand, the Federal Reserve prints. And not even necessarily to meet that monetary demand either. They're also sending money here, sending money there. They've got obligations. It's really just a nightmarish situation, economically speaking. So in order to slow down inflation, right? In order to slow down the printing of money or having the obligation to print the money, you have to increase interest rates across the board. So when I say increase interest rates, what exactly do we mean by that? We mean interest rates for credit cards. We mean interest rates for mortgages. We mean interest rates for personal loans. We mean interest rates for car loans, just across the board. The Federal Reserve increases the rates at the top at which banks can lend money to each other, and subsequently those rate hikes are passed all the way down to the consumer through networks of banks. So everything gets more expensive to do business, and that's what they want. That's what they want because they do not want stagflation. They do not want out of control inflation. So this is the problem. This is the beast that we're dealing with right now. This last interest rate hike, 0.5%, was the biggest interest rate hike in the last 22 years. And what Jerome Powell said, it is likely that the Federal Reserve will raise 0.5% interest points in June and July, and even more interest rates into August, September, even more hikes, and into 2023. Folks, that's not good. That's not good, but it's expected. All those rainbow and butterfly stories that you guys heard earlier in the year to try to quell any type of anxiety that the consumer may have or the business sector may have, it was all fluff, and we knew it. You got to deal with what you did, and you sacrificed the long term for the short term. You made economic and monetary policies during the Trump administration, for example, that inflated the supply of money to the stars, and now we're having to deal with the consequences of that. So they're having to rug the economy. That's what the Federal Reserve does. The monetary policy that we have right now is absolutely nightmarish. So they're rugging the economy to slow things down. It gets kind of crazier, folks. So his goal is to bring inflation to 2%. That's the goal. We're currently sitting about 8.3%, I believe. And I think it's going to go higher next month. So that's a pretty far way. Restoring price stability is his primary priority, is what he says. So what do you have to do in order to restore price stability, to decrease inflation down to 2% or under? You're going to have to rug the economy hard. It's not going to be a soft landing. It's going to trigger a recession. And right now, I would even go out on a limb to say, hey, we are in the recession right now, and it's only going to get deeper. It's only going to get deeper. Again, this isn't some FUD type stuff. This is this is the reality that we have to deal with when we have these types of economic policies. He said, unemployment is going to have to go up. That's something that they're willing to be okay with in order to get inflation under control. He also says wage growth is going to drop, okay? They have to get wage growth to drop because wage growth is also a form of inflation. And he said this is also going to be a great thing to restore price stability. So, if and here's to kind of go into that real quick. If people make more money, that's a contributor to inflation, i.e., wage inflation. Americans, they have been making more money, but it hasn't been keeping up with inflation. That's a problem. So Americans have been making more money. They have not been keeping up with inflation. And based on what Jerome Powell said yesterday, it's that margin between the inflation rate and wages, it's only going to become more negative. These are issues. These are issues that we're going to be dealing with, folks. And we have to be real about it, because you're not going to hear about it on the news until it happens, until it's in it. And then even then, there's going to be some type of spin on it to make you think that everything's okay. It's just a bunch of lies and pile up until it is okay. But there's a lot of damage that's going to be done to the economy in the meantime. So it's frustrating. We're going to have negative wage growth for many Americans for the upcoming years. And yes, I do say years. 24 months. It might take that long to get this under control. But Powell, again, he says they have to do everything to fight inflation. And I'll just say this too. Discretionary economic policy, when you have somebody like Jerome Powell, he does not have a good track record. And it kind of stinks. It kind of stinks that this system is put into place, because humans aren't good at controlling this. And it has to happen time and time and time again for our economy to be tearing and then our economy to get rugged by the same people that, quote unquote, want to grow it. They got to rug it now. And because of the decisions that these politicians make, and because of the decisions that the Federal Reserve makes, the people that it hurt are you and me. And it's horrible. Jerome Powell initially said that this is going to be a soft landing. Jerome Powell initially said that this is a transitory type thing, but he's changing his story. At this point, he admits when he's wrong at the very least, but he's changed his story and says, hey, I'm not sure if there's much that can be done not to trigger a recession. And he realizes that this really, really big problem has been created, and the problem is too big not to trigger it. But it's nothing new. We've been talking about this a long time. I showed you those news articles. I showed you CNN 1 or 2 days before the stock market plunged here recently. And they had this huge piece about how incredible the economy was and how everything was booming and everything was good to go, right? And they just want you to do this. That's all they want you to do. So mortgages, price for mortgages is going to go up. Interest rates are going to go up. Interest rates on auto loans, credit cards, etc. So here comes the question. We got the bad news. Let's talk about what to do, and let's talk about moving forward. And then we're going to kind of talk about what the crypto markets might look like because of this. The first thing that you can do in your family right now I'm just assuming most of you guys are just regular Joes. And if you're in the States or if you're anywhere else, these are things that you can do. You can pay down high interest credit card balances. Focus your financial energy on the interest rates that fluctuate to the upside the most. A lot of people don't realize that these credit card interest rates, they can hike them up, and they're going to hike them up. So it can be the difference in a year's period of paying hundreds of dollars more or even thousands of dollars more on that interest on your credit cards if you have them. And I'm talking to the normal person, and I know the normal person has a massive amount of credit card debt, at least in the States, because we're not very good with money here, and it doesn't seem like we ever have been. Well, maybe we used to be. When emergencies hit, you want to eliminate as many of your monthly expenses as possible. The big problem here that Jerome Powell outlined is small businesses, man, they're going to be hurt. They're going to be banged upside the head. And some of you folks might find yourself in situations where you don't have steady jobs. This could be the case. The economy is going to retract tremendously. It's going to retract tremendously. So these are some of the things that you can do. Some of the costliest times in the economy, and certainly in terms of credit card debt, are during recessions, because those interest rates on some of those cards, they can move up on you, and it's in the fine print. So it's frustrating. But you got to be careful too. You got to really look at your expenses and your finances to find out if these are fixed or not. So what you want to do is kind of rank things from highest to lowest and figure out which ones can change on you, move on you, and maybe focus on that. Focus on those a little bit more, right? Don't pay more into stuff that's going to be a lower interest rate or the same. You want to try to build a substantial emergency fund now. And a lot of people think about emergency funds and they freak out. They're like, man, that's, I don't have enough money. A little bit of money adds up quite a bit. That's very important to know. And how much, generally about, 30 to 50% of a worker's wages, if you do end up leaving your job, are replaced by government and state programs. So if you do have some extra reserves, i.e. emergency fund, to help supplement that, you can kind of keep your same standard of living. So you want to knock back about 6 months worth of expenses. You want to have that saved, especially now. You can start now before it really starts getting weird out there. I would say that's important. The next thing, you want to look for ways to cut back too. You want to look for ways to cut back. If you're looking to free up cash that you can recycle back in your bank account, it's a good idea to go through your monthly expenses and identify your discretionary type stuff, the stuff that you don't need, services or items that you can live without, subscriptions, apps. There's all sorts of stuff. Maybe you can mow your lawn instead of paying somebody else to do it. Just ways to be able to cut back, to be able to stockpile, add some cash. Companies, they're going to stockpile cash right now too. Everybody's going to be stockpiling cash. And the crazy part about this too is if you look at the DXY, if you look at the dollar index, you've noticed that once these rate hikes have gone into effect, the strength of the dollar has increased. Why do you guys think that? It's because it's decreasing inflation. Inflation is negative. It's a negative price pressure. So now that they're decreasing inflation, the value of the dollar is going to go up, which is why you do also see a lot of companies hoard cash in these times because they know that they're going to make their money back in that way. So, typically it's recommended to spend no more than 30% of your net income. That is earnings after tax on any type of discretionary items. And a lot of you have never created a budget either. I will say this, as much as Dave Ramsey hates cryptocurrency, he does teach the foundations of budgeting and learning about money and putting your money to work for you. He teaches that very, very well. I encourage everybody to go through that if you don't know anything about money or you've not been taught. So Total Money Makeover, I'll put a link in the description after this. You guys can check that book out. The last thing that I want to impress upon you here too, all these really bad things are going to happen. The market's going to come back. Is it going to take 12 months to come back? Probably longer. 18 months, 24 months, like really back in full swing. The thing that you don't want to do is make knee-jerk reactions with your investments right now. This is why we dollar cost average. We get the bottoms, and that's what we're doing right now. These are the best buying opportunities. And a downturn in the economy might freak a lot of people out because you pull up your portfolio and you see that it's a quarter of what it was before. But you got to understand that as long as you stick to your plan, stick to this plan, have faith that it's going to bounce back because it is going to bounce back. Like they're doing things to cause it to bounce back right now. So they're taking actions right now to do it. It's going to get ugly, but no knee-jerk reactions. Don't freak out. Just stick to your plan. And that's something that I preach quite a bit, especially with cryptocurrency, right? So maybe changing your strategy when things are down is not the best idea. It is not the best idea because it will bounce back. We just don't know. We don't know how long it'll take here. So, one comment that this guy, his name's McBride, he kind of makes about the downturns. He says it'll take a tough stomach to hold off because in a recession, for example, stock markets, they easily fall 30 to 40% peak to trough, but making regular contributions and reinvesting all the distributions will make those market gyrations work to your benefit. Exactly. That's what we teach in crypto too. You know, a 30 or 40% fall off in the crypto markets is equal to probably 80% in the crypto markets, I would say, especially in altcoins. But if you're buying these things right now, you're getting them at fire sale. And it's so important to understand that these are the times when you are going to make the most money. That is just the bottom line. All right. I want to go over this. Very interesting, actually. Copy paste here. All right. This is Mike Novogratz. You guys might know old Mikey here. Mike Novogratz is the CEO of Galaxy. And he's kind of talking about Luna. He's talking about the situation with Luna and what happened. And, you know, there's a lot of stuff in here that just makes me like roll my eyes, and it's cringeworthy. But there is also some stuff in here that I think that we can take, we can learn some lessons from. Okay. So he says, you know, what happens? To start, the global macro backdrop has been brutal for all risk assets this year. Growth stocks with negative cash flow are down as much as 50 to 70% this year. Crypto has been under pressure with core assets like BTC and ETH down about 58% from all-time highs, and altcoins are down an average of 80% from all-time highs. Central bankers are in the early stages of unwinding a massive liquidity bubble, fueled by unprecedented fiscal and monetary policy injections into the economy across the globe, including in the U.S., that had propped up all risk assets. You guys remember that. You got to understand that. It is a bubble. The bubble was created by the federal government. Massive amounts of money, unearned money, was injected into the economy. And now we're going to have to deal with that because there was no substance behind it. There was no substance driving it. I find it very interesting, too. Let me just point this out. The White House are blaming rich people for inflation. They're not blaming themselves. They're not blaming the politicians. They're not blaming the Federal Reserve. You show me a correlation between rich people's earnings and inflation. I'll wait. So anyway, the free money forever ethos of the last decade has left us staring in the face of the biggest bout of inflation since the 70s. Many assets that had meteoric rises in the period since COVID have suffered meaningful and correlated corrections. This macro backdrop put pressure on Luna and the reserves held back UST. UST's growth had exploded from 18% yield offered in the Anchor protocol, which eventually overwhelmed other uses of the Terra blockchain. The downward pressure on the reserve assets, coupled with UST withdrawals, triggered a stress scenario akin to a run on the bank. The reserves weren't enough to prevent UST collapse. With hindsight, things always look clearer. He says, my tattoo will be a constant reminder that venture investing requires humility. The dude got a Luna tattoo. This guy got a Luna tattoo, folks. How does that, I mean, Mike Novogratz, billions of dollars in this fund, and he got this thing, and he's going to live with it. And it seems like he's not going to try to destroy it. Now, he should change this. He should try. I mean, it's wildly embarrassing. It's the most embarrassing thing that I've seen, and I'm surprised he has the guts to even talk about this, to be honest. When you look at his reasoning, they don't look at the code. They just look at the blockchain. They see what projects are on it, how many people are involved, and what types of problems it solves. But they didn't look at the code, and he got burned for it. Like I personally could have done better research for his company than he could have in his entire team. It's embarrassing. Anybody in our community could have. So the flash crash of Luna UST also reinforces a few core tenets of investing, especially crypto investing. This is what I like, okay? You might not like the guy, whatever the case may be. Step 1, keep a diversified portfolio. Step 2, take profits along the way. Step 3, have a risk management framework and understand that all investment happen in a macro framework. You do got to understand that, right? So keep a diversified portfolio. Why do you guys think that I tell you to keep 50% and then 25-25? I say 50, 25, 25 all the time. And then if you're going to get into higher risk type things, you want to use lower portions of your portfolio. It just makes sense to do that for you. Because when you have these things pop up and you have these issues, some projects, they can fail. You know, I'd like to think that no project in this ecosystem is going to fail, but by saying that, I would say I'm probably wrong. Something could happen. Hopefully it's not a RH product. We certainly don't think it is. But there's going to be a lot of other projects too in this space that we're going to be putting money into. So we need to allocate smaller portions of our portfolio to things that we might not understand, or these folks might not have a track record. So it's always prudent to be very, very cautious with those sorts of things. So, you know, the next thing that we want to talk about here, he says, reading the stories of retail investors who lost their savings in one investment is heart-wrenching. A core tenet is the crypto belief system is equal access to markets. But it's important that less experienced market participants only risk what they're comfortable losing. I've often said that people should allocate 1% to 5% of their assets to this space. So, he doesn't take his own advice, I don't think, as evidenced by this crazy behavior of him getting a freaking Luna tattoo on his right arm. Are you going to give money to a man that sits here and tells you that only 1% or to 5% of your portfolio should be in these markets, yet he gets a Luna tattoo on his right arm? All in. It's kind of crazy to me. I don't know. Maybe it's just me, though. You guys tell me in chat. At a high level, it's important to understand that volatility is likely to continue and the macro situation is going to remain challenging. It is going to remain challenging. We just outlined why it's going to remain challenging. The Jerome Powell and the Federal Reserve and people are running away with their tails tucked between their legs. All right. What does all this mean for the future of crypto? Crypto's not going away. The amount of human capital moving into the space isn't slowing down. I like that point. I completely agree with that. More and more people are learning how to code. As you bring more and more brains into the space, you have more and more opportunity for people to come up with really, really cool ideas to change the face of crypto forever. So we need more brains in here. We need all sorts of brains in here. So I agree with that completely. The focus on building decentralized infrastructure that allows value and ownership to flow as freely as information on the internet isn't slowing down. The GDP of the metaverse is heading one way. Our community is resilient, has shared a belief in a new way of doing things, and the assurance that this is the very early innings. This does not mean the crypto market will bottom and head straight back up. It will take restructuring, a redemption cycle, consolidation, and renewed confidence in crypto. Crypto moves in cycles, and we just witnessed a big one. You know, I think that crypto at large is really traumatized by what happened with Luna. I don't think our community is as traumatized. Right? I don't think our community is. And I'm not really feeling what he's putting down, but obviously he's traumatized too. I mean, he has a damn Luna tattoo on his right arm or left arm. So I think this type of thing is going to show you, it's going to show you why you are where you are right now, why you're in this community. It's because a lot of the bad things that happen to the rest of crypto, Twitter, and crypto in general, they just don't seem to happen to us. Now, we're going to fall victim to the macro pressures, the market downturns, etc. That's just the bottom line. We're going to do that, just not as bad. And we're not going to have these catastrophic events. And the other thing is we've got a lot of people who are really, really high IQ, and they can take a look at a project and they can size it up and pretty quick, and they can say, hey, guys, this probably isn't the best thing to get into. Or, guys, this seems like a pretty good bet. Let's check it out here. So, before I'm going to give you guys kind of a prediction, and I'm going to lock it in the stone here, right? So we're going to make this prediction. I'm going to create. I've already created a chart. I'm going to kind of show you guys what I think, what we're going to be looking at moving forward. All right. Crypto Wonder Podcast. What's up, my man? The Reverend in the building. Mango Junkie. Oi, oi. Balliot, Brandon in the house. You rock, Brandon. No, you rock, Brandon. Keep up the great work. Thank you. Thank you. The Mystery Productions. What's up? Terrafin +1 in it. The bear market will be 6.3 inches in circumference. How's it going, Rags? Cost. It's good. Good. Gutter Boat. What's up, my brother? How's life, man? Talking about a guy who's grinding. Talking about a guy who's going to be taking advantage of this bear market. We got him right here. Old Gunner Boat 37. All right. Let's check it out. Oh, boy. Getting late again this evening. I really don't like this channel. This channel really doesn't like you either. Thank you for pointing that out. What a bunch of degens. Absolute 100% degens in here. 2 likes equals 0 likes. Thank you. Thank you. Liking the shades. The best gas station shades for $9.38 that I have ever purchased. Absolutamente. Davis says, $5, Davis. Thank you so much. Careful, because if you have a $10,000 credit limit and pay it down, they can drop your limit to 0, i.e. close your card, so keep some type of balance. Thank you for that. Thank you for that. I'll tell you guys one thing about Davis. This guy is a master researcher. He's got his finger on the pulse everywhere, man. He's given me a lot of cool ideas for content, so I appreciate that, Davis. I don't like you as a person, but otherwise, it's all good, man. All right. So let's talk about this. What you up to, Rages? Rags? Nothing much, man. We're just talking to these people, man. We're trying to give some truth about what the future might look like. Now, I don't know for sure, but history repeats itself. And, we can just kind of speculate as to what it might look like. Okay? So let's get into this. This is, I'm going to copy here. Oh, yeah. I'm going to paste there. Boom. All right, let's bring this up. Oh, wait. BLX. Where's BLX? Yep, boom. What might this recovery look like for the crypto market in general? Instead of using total crypto market cap, I'm just going to use BTC's chart here. Okay? So what do we have here? What are we looking at? Well, we're looking at a trend line that has been set for Bitcoin at large pretty much since its inception. This has been a major, major level. When you have a level like this that has been in place for such a long time, it becomes a bit more difficult to break, right? It's a psychological thing as much as it is some imprints in the order book. So if we're looking at Bitcoin, we're in these green lines here. These are the halvenings. So these past 3, these were the exact halvenings that I marked. And this one is going to be the projected halvening every 240,000 blocks. So we're going to say this next one's probably going to be in the range of March of 2024, let's just say. All right. I took some of the fractals from the past, kind of looked at some similarities that we had. We could see something like this. We could see the crypto market from 2022 all the way out into October of 2023, kind of staying flat or decreasing or going sideways. Probably not increasing. Now, why is that? It's because Jerome Powell has told us repeatedly that these 0.5% interest rate hikes are going to be going on for at least the next 12 months. And those are not good for the economy. A lot of people are going to get scared. A lot of people are going to hold their cash. Companies are going to hold their cash. They're going to stockpile. Everybody's going to go back they're going to retract into their little turtle shell here. That's what's going to happen. Okay. Now, I think that one thing that needs to be considered is the crypto market tends to wake up around these halvenings. Does it mean it will this time, this go around? No, it doesn't mean that. I'm making assumptions here. So I think we could be in this same type of situation potentially all the way until this time next year, folks. It's very likely. We got to get confidence back. We got to consolidate back down, etc. I'm talking about the crypto marketplace in general. Here's what I have also said too, and I will make this point. With Pulse Chain launching, our liquidity is going to be much more tied, I think, with Ethereum and Bitcoin, much more than it has before. We're going to have a bridge. We're going to have a lot of monetary value that's bridged in. It's going to be PETH on the Pulse chain. It's going to be swapped. There's going to be a lot of liquidity tied to that. I will say that. So with that said, I think that we do have a counter argument to that, which is we have a community, really, really strong and well-capitalized community that can really push Pulse chain up. But I think that the really, really, really big fireworks, in my opinion, are going to begin to happen probably around this time next year with Pulse Chain. When the rest of the crypto market cap wakes up and Johnny calls Jenny, and Jenny calls Sally, and everybody says, hey, crypto's back, that's when people are going to start looking for opportunities to make money. That's when people are going to start Googling. That's people are going to YouTube, and they're going to look for, top 5 crypto investments to invest in right now. And they're going to see a lot of our content from our content creators in this community, and things are really, really going to pick up. So I will say that with Pulse Chain launching, I like our odds that we're going to be one of the strongest assets, cryptocurrency projects during the bear market. And that's what I've been excited about this entire time. I've been excited about it because when the rest of the market's crashing, with what we have going on, it's really going to push stuff forward in our favor. We're going to get a lot of visibility. People are going to be asking a lot of questions, right? And of course, Richard Hart, he is no slouch when it comes to marketing himself. So if Pulse Chain is doing 20% better than the rest of the market, you damn well know that he's going to make sure everybody knows it. He's going to be tagging Novigrats and freaking everybody else. So a realistic expectation, timeline-wise, if we're looking at Bitcoin and we're just kind of comparing this to the rest of the crypto market, we could have about 1,000 or 1,200 days before Bitcoin's price breaches the all-time high, the previous all-time high of about 60,000. Right? So based on what I'm thinking here, we could be right at 18,000, potentially Q4 this year or Q1, Q2 of next year. We could chop sideways. I think that the previous all-time high back in 2017 can serve as a pretty strong area of support for us. But I will say this. This is kind of a more optimistic approach. I'm just going to go with the optimistic approach this time. But with these interest rate hikes over the next year going into 2023, I haven't been alive to see how that works. It's not pretty, though. I think there's a lot of pain coming for a lot of Americans and much of the world. But the message that I want to put across is don't change your strategy now. Do not change your strategy now. Okay? You are going to be purchasing cryptocurrency at an absolute fire sale. And you're going to have the opportunity, hopefully, to do it for the next 12 months or 18 months. All right? I hope and pray that with how well capitalized we are, the sacrifice money, et cetera, and us just spreading the good word about what's going on with Pulse Chain, I hope that we can be very much immune to the macro effects. But I think it's going to be incredible for us. It's going to be multiplied in a very, very big way as we come out of this bear market. Potentially, we might be in this for another year, and the market start pushing higher. This could be a really good opportunity for us. I also think, let me just say this, if there was ever regulation to happen, the government would probably want regulation to happen when the least amount of people are participating in the market. So I think that during that 12 or 18 month period that we're going to see things stagnate a bit or a lot. I think that that's when you see the government move quickly on their CBDC projects and just establishing some sort of regulation. That is my theory on what's happening here. Now, I've covered quite a few topics here, but we got a lot of good information out here. So I'm going to check. We'll check chat. We'll use like the last 10 or 15 minutes. I'll answer some questions from chat. And I'm sorry, I've got a lot of comments here. I'll start at Davis's. MZ says Netflix, HBO, Hulu, Disney Plus, Amazon, bye-bye. Welcome back, Pirate Bay. Guys, another reason why the NDX, why the NASDAQ is dropping is because these earning reports are just weak. They're just weak, man. Inflation really kicks everybody's ass from the top of the supply chain all the way down to the bottom. Trucking companies, gas prices, food prices, fertilizer manufacturing. We've got issues with Russia, and there's just a lot of bad stuff going on, guys. And I don't think we're completely immune to it. I know we're not completely immune to it in the community, but we got to call it what it is. We got to see it coming, and then once it gets here, it's going to hurt, but it's not going to feel as bad. I forgot to tell you guys one thing too. A lot of the information that you're going to see when you start Googling what to do during a recession is to go back to school. I personally think that that's some of the worst information that you could possibly receive and worst advice. Okay? The only thing that's recession proof in these economies are skilled positions. All right? The skilled positions. Because the recession, the economy can't take away the fact that you're a badass carpenter or you're a badass welder, or positions that, inflation-proof positions such as healthcare. That's inflation-proof as well. That's only going up, up, up. You got to be smart and strategic about this, and don't just take dumb information from the internet. Here's another thing. Let's say you want to become a nurse, right? Go sign up, work for a place that's going to pay for you to go to nursing school in exchange for some time out of your life, man. Why not? Oh, yeah, we'll send you to school if you sign a contract to work for us for 3 years after. So 5 years total, you get free school. Just be smart about it. There's a lot of stuff out there that you can do. Don't go off in the middle of a recession and putting yourself in $100,000 worth of debt. I know some of you guys, I know some folks, they went to Full Sail University to study music production. $100,000 in debt. And everything they could have possibly known is on YouTube. They could have gotten all that information. Now they're screwed. They're working at Dollar General for $9 an hour. They're not outpacing inflation. And it's like people complain about their situations, but they're not adapting or doing anything to change their situations. Affy James says 449 members of Congress should be ashamed of themselves for selling out their constituents by voting to send $40 billion to Ukraine. Scumbags they are. Well, is that who I think it is? Yeah, Mr. Paul there. All he asked was that we have some sort of accountability with this money. That's all he asked, and he got absolutely crucified. And there's a lot of truth to this. $40 billion just like that, with no accountability, no oversight committee, just sent there. Right? I understand that we're in a sticky situation with Russia, etc., but the taxpayers, we just don't matter anymore. We don't matter. There is a class, there is a separation. There's an elitist class that they just know better than everybody else. And the information that they have, we don't deserve to know, and they're going to make decisions with or without us. It'll get covered up. Wake Dog says, far out aliens. He left the tick part. Gaming says, LOL. Red Squirrel says, it looks terrible. Yeah, dude, that tattoo, man. Looks like a $200 tattoo. Like a Sailor Jerry tattoo from 1951. BlackRock gave Luna an offer they couldn't refuse. That is, that's one of the little rumors on the street right now. Yep, tacky. MZ says money is like manure. You have to spread it around or it smells. Evo says, I'm struggling to imagine if that's a real tattoo. It's a real tattoo, bro. Nova Rat is MIA. He hasn't been seen on Twitter for a few days. Someone saw him at a laser removal place. These people are no smarter than you. These people who run these crypto funds, this and that, they're no smarter than you. Not at all. Like I said, we could have seen this coming. We could have seen this coming a mile away. What if Novogratz hashtag Hexkins? What do you guys think about this? No, don't do it. Don't do it. And it's not that don't do it because Hex. It's don't do it because it's not immutable. Don't do it because it's centralized. Don't do it because it's an algorithmic stablecoin. That its backing is in Luna. What? Don't do it because there's no other asset backing it. Don't do it because $3 billion worth of Bitcoin were purchased, but it wasn't injected in the system to help shore up the peg of UST if it did fall. Like simple stuff here. These are just basic questions that we ask, projects on our streams. I think it's really good that you guys saw Luna fail too, because now you understand how important it is or how awesome it is to be in the community that you're in. Marcavelli says, if you invest 1% in anything, you're a pleb forever. Nah, man. I'll tell you all this. Be careful now. I know some of you guys get those meme coin itches. You got to scratch it, right? 1%. You could put about 0.5% or 1% of your portfolio in one of those little meme projects that you shouldn't. And I know all y'all do. You know how I know? You know how I know all y'all do? Because when these projects hit me up and they ask me to be able to use my platform to interview them, to shill it to you guys, essentially is what they're asking. And I'm doing it to uncover the information that we're talking about right now. But I'll go to those telegrams, guys. I'll go to those telegrams. And I could see all you guys in those telegrams asking questions. I could see who's joined what. I can click your name. I can see all the groups that we have in common. So I know you guys are out there doing it, but it's okay. I'm not here to shame you. Risk management. If you're going to scratch the itch, use a small amount of money. You can get an outsized return, but you're probably going to lose your money. That's just how that goes. Crypto Freedom says, nice headphones, Rags. You look like a ginger Mickey Mouse. Woohoo! Outstanding. These are some big boys. Oh, yeah. Giggity. I'm the opposite of traumatized. Lots more Hex selling because many borrowed margin to sack. Come on, Pulse. Let's go. My heart. Now, this is a moment of weakness for Rags here. It's a moment of weakness. You guys just bear with me. My heart goes out to you guys who this is your first interaction with cryptocurrency. And you're in this brutal bear market and you might have bought Hex at 50 cents or 40 cents or 30 cents. My heart goes out to you because I understand how you feel. I totally understand how you feel. And I'll tell you this. It's okay to feel that way. It's normal. It's natural. You've got no experience to back anything up. You just don't know. All you're hearing is these people who you may or may not trust, including me. You may or may not trust me, and that's fine. I might not want to trust myself if I was third party watching this. Just pull up a chart, teach yourself how to look at a chart. Just pull up the total crypto market cap, and then everything's gonna make sense. This isn't going away. There is a massive amount of development, a massive amount of human capital. These are things that don't get talked about enough. They're being injected into the space. Really smart people. These next generation of people coming in, these kids, they're gonna be looking at blockchain. They're gonna be developing. This is the direction that it's going. Just understand. I hate it when everybody's like, "Oh, we're so early." Like, we're pretty damn early, guys. We're pretty damn early. I mean, we probably account for 0.5% or probably 0.25% of the total global assets under management. Or if you look at whatever the case may be, we're growing very rapidly. The adoption curve is much of that. It's actually stronger than the internet was starting all the way back into the late 80s. So just stick to the plan. The people in this community want to see you win. Nobody's asking you for money. Nobody's asking you, hey, join my paid group. No paid groups here. No paid groups really anywhere in the community. And there are some groups that, there are some people that are offering that type of benefit too. I get it. But guys, just be calm, be cool, collected, stick to your plan, focus on your family, try to get into a job that's recession proof so you don't have to worry about any of this, right? And you're going to have to do hard things. You're going to have to suffer. You're going to have to sacrifice. You can't always do what you want when you're trying to get to your destination. Sometimes you got to do things that are rough. Sometimes you got to do jobs you don't want to do. Sometimes you got to pick up hours you don't want to pick up. But just know that it's going to get better. You're on fire sale right now. You guys will be good. I'm excited for this bear market. Can't wait to accumulate new water, my positions. Absolutely. Dylan Patrick, what's up, Hex Hodl? The Saudis are coming with a small... I'm just going to say ego instead of Papa from now on. Or maybe I can say Papa. I'll say Papa. That's better. Kier, and better. I like Hex at these levels. We all do. The Fed will cut rates next week. Not according to Jerome Powell yesterday. But if they do, awesome. Dylan Patrick says, what's up, Rags? What's up, man? What's up? I knew a Dylan Patrick Smith one time. Terrafin, our navigator. Oh, Jesus. GPS broke. Astrology lesson. Nope. No astrology. Real Furu stuff in here. Absolutely. This chart definitely confirms BTC will 350x after a healthy pullback. I wouldn't say that much. There's diminishing returns every cycle with BTC. I think we're going to struggle to hit 100 for a long time. I really do. Everybody's Papa going to get tiny. Hex is the way. I like crabs, turtles, squids, dolphins, sharks. Absolutely. What's up? George Taco says, I'm not getting notifications. I've heard that quite a bit lately. A lot of you guys aren't getting notifications from me. If the trend does break, it will be ugly. It will be ugly. It will be ugly, folks. There's no doubt about it. It'll be ugly. What did we see back here? You guys remember back here in 2017 with Bitcoin, when we were consolidating down, everybody thought this was a bull flag. And then it dropped off the face of the planet. Dropped 50% after it had already dropped how much? It had already dropped 70%, and then it dropped another 50%. What if we dropped another 50% here? A wick down to 50% would be at about 15,000 Bitcoin. Be prepared for it. Just be emotionally prepared. Everybody else in the market's going to be freaking out. This is what it's all about, folks. This is when you make your money. You got to understand that. I see some people mentally really questioning themselves and questioning their crypto investments. I've seen it quite a bit. Just stay strong, accumulate, because we already know, and I've showed you this on those HODL wave charts, those wallets that have been holding for 1 year to 7 years, they just started accumulating. They know that this bottom is coming here within the next 12 months. They're going to buy. Buy. But yeah, I agree, Johnny. Optimal timeline, twice in one day, not much else to do. Might as well listen to Rags. Damn Skippy. You guys like my counterfeit FBI Department of Treasury story this morning? Check it out. Nobody wants crabs. Hex Hodl. The strongest is Hex. Yes. Hex banded +1. Hex is the best. Mid-level long stake turtle is superior to short stake low-level dolphin. Very interesting. I like that. Buy some storable food and they will try to starve us. Hopefully it doesn't get to that point. It's always good to have a good 6 months to 2 year supply of food just in case, though. I might make a new ranking system. What's up, Rags and the Hex fam? Good to see y'all. Vibra Finance CEO. I guess that's Adam. What is up, Adam? All right. Now I know I'm about to piss a bunch of people off. I'm going to skip down here to the bottom. Unimax, who's dumping? It's people who are freaking out. And it's good opportunities for you. News for the masses and news for the classes. So true, man. So true. It's different for each tier. Absolutely. Former carpenter. Finn Bear said, "Oh boy, I had to wash my bags, rinse, and repeat. Now I'm 20 minutes behind on the stream." Scott says, "Great info. Been holding some stables. Think I'm going to keep holding them for a bit." Shake my head. Don't forget, guys, it's happened in America. People waiting for lines of soup just 100 years ago. Just want to bring this here to your attention, folks. I just want you guys not to be freaked out when everybody else is yelling and screaming. You can have a sense of confidence because you're working hard, you're doing what you're supposed to, and you're sticking to the plan. Everybody else is freaking out. Just stick to the plan. This is where you make your money. Money is made in bear markets, not bull markets. Got to understand that. Sherlock Rags. Thanks for feeling me. Day 647, but 100% staked. I stupidly sacked for my exchange instead of for my MetaMask for Pulse. Do you think I'll get that back to, that'll get back to my exchange as Pulse balances zero? I think your exchange is going to keep that. Unfortunately, I don't think you're going to ever get that. Hate to tell you that, man. Frederick, I've got some hex now for a snapshot for your copy. Cool. 76 million hex dumped yesterday, and hex holds up okay. Yeah, our liquidity we got larger liquidity pools than we did a year ago. So I've been actually pretty impressed with how we've held up with so much hex being dumped. Never start leverage margin trading. You're going to lose all your money getting greedy when it works out. By luck 2-3 times. Yeah, don't do that. 90 or 95% of people who do leverage trading or margin trading or just trading in general, they fail within the first 6 months to a year. If you don't believe me, pick up any trading book out there that teaches you how to day trade, and that's like the first thing that they tell you. And don't think that you're going to be special. You could be special, but it's going to take you a lot of money to learn the lessons right before you're profitable, like years of losses. Jeff, talk to the help people, the people that sit from the exchange and got their SAC coins. I hope you do. I hope you get it if you can. We can all we can eat all the pulse chain bugs. Yep. When did I start crypto? I started crypto. My Coinbase account was open in 2014. I've got a very similar story as to everybody else. Forgot about my crypto account being open. Opened my account, had some money in there, did good. Lost it all pretty much in 2017. And then I started learning and trying to adapt because I really felt like cryptocurrency was the way to strike it big. So I waited to the bottom when I showed you this chart here. Let me show you. So I knew nothing about cryptocurrency. I'm just riding this up. I got involved. My buddy was talking to me about it. We're buying Ethereum, Bitcoin, altcoins, Tron. I made a killing on Tron when it launched. I think Tron went up all the way to 30 cents, 28, 30 cents. And I think I had bought in at under a penny. So I just couldn't believe what was happening. The correction happened. Of course, I didn't know what was going on. I just thought it's going to go up forever. And I'm holding. And in this time period, I also bought a bunch of Bitcoin miners. So I was mining Bitcoin as well as investing. If I had just invested that money instead, I probably would have done better. Fell off the face of the map. And then down in here, man, I think it was actually perfect. April, May, this whole time frame, I was just accumulating. I was accumulating bags. I got into Terra Luna real cheap. I got into, what else? Got into Matic, Cardano. Did like 100x with Cardano. I don't even remember what else I had. ICX was big. I didn't make a lot of money off ICX. I think that chain was a rug pull. Ended up being a rug pull. I just had a huge portfolio of Dogecoin. I got into Dogecoin back here. I think in April of 17 or maybe sometime in 16, I bought $500 worth. I think I had like 100,000 Doge. Or it might have been a couple months later. I had $100,000 worth, or 100,000 Doge that I bought for $500. So that was good. And I just held it all the way through. Held it through the bear market. And essentially, that's my story. I started doing real well, and I just started teaching, hey, listen, it's not trading, it's holding long term. And just like Crypto Heartbeat says, it's like winning the lottery in slow motion. Eat the soap for soup. Hex Lab says, my mommy told me I was special. She told me that too. I wish she hadn't. Really screwed me up for years. Jeff Anderson stupidly sacked from my exchange. Oh, yeah. We already talked about that. Okay. Yeah, that sucks, man. That really hurts. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we're an hour and 2 minutes in. We've got 189 people here. Hopefully you guys got something out of this. The key message here is not to freak out. The key message here is to understand that this will be temporary, but there could be blood for about 12 months to 24 months. Just take this as an opportunity to grind, accumulate. Really, really cool things will happen. I think Pulse Chain is going to do better than the rest of the crypto market in general, but look for some true fireworks when the rest of the crypto market also wakes up. You can do massive gains in small amounts of time. You could do 2, 3, 500Xs in 3 months. So when that comes online, man, we could be good to go. Will there ever come a time when crypto decorrelates from the stock market? It's really hard to talk about this because technology there's so many different iterations and paths that it can take. I think that in the future we're going to see crypto and traditional markets kind of one and the same. I think that we see that way on down the road. I don't think we're going to see the decorrelation that everybody thinks we're going to see. Salmon, hey, Rags, just want to say I love you, brother. Got 12 months to accumulate. Finbear says, uh-oh, I hit the like by mistake. Give it back. Gavin says, peace out. Patience heals all wounds. Guys, ladies and gentlemen, we're good. You guys know how this goes. My name is Brandon. Do not like, do not comment, do not subscribe. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm out.